Okay, I am recording.
I'm making this announcement in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, Laws of the State of New Jersey. The Borough Clerk has prepared a schedule of the meetings of the governing body of the Borough of Kenilworth for the year 2020. The Borough Clerk has posted a true copy of this schedule on the bulletin board located at the front entrance of Borough Hall and has mailed true copies of this schedule to the local source, the Star Ledger, and the Home News Tribune, and is maintaining a copy of the schedule in her office during the year 2020. Accordingly, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied in regard to this meeting. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Cesari?
Here.
Clementi?
Here.
Councilman David?
He's present.
Councilman Ladati?
Here.
Councilman Lopez?
Here.
And Councilman Shelkey.
Here.
Okay, the minutes for approval are for the April 22nd meeting, not for the May 13th meeting as listed on the agenda. 2 resolutions on the consent agenda this evening that relate to COVID-19 and the reopening of the borough. One is the appointment of a coordinator to initiate and oversee the farmers market. It will be very low-key opening to allow for adjustments to safety protocols. The other is to permit local action upon the governor commencing the reopening phases instead of having to wait. The resolution allows for the expansion of sidewalk cafes for the year to include retail businesses if they can comply with the parameters and does not permit the construction official the authority to make judgment calls. And does permit, I'm sorry, the construction official to make judgment calls. For my report this evening, I hope you all enjoyed a relaxing Memorial Day weekend. I would like to take a moment to honor and pay respect to our military personnel who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Currently, there are 155,764 cases of COVID-19 in New Jersey, 15,293 cases in Union County, and 143 cases in Kenilworth. While more restrictions are being lifted, please remember to social distance while we continue to battle the coronavirus. Kenilworth census is counted at 73.3%. Please take a moment to count yourself in if you haven't done so at my2020census.com. And also a reminder that St. Teresa's Food Bank is open to anyone in need on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Thank you. Department of Finance, Councilman Lopez.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's just a reminder that the extended grace period to pay your property taxes is due June 1st. Although the Tax and Finance Office is closed to the public, payments can still be made 24/7 through the drop box located on 23rd Street side entrance online, or you can mail in your payment. No cash is being accepted at this time. Also, you can drop off your senior freeze applications, can also be dropped off at the same drop box as well. Just the finance staff has currently transitioned. They're actually working at Borough Hall, but they're following the COVID-19 requirements. And just remember, it's not open to the public. They're not seeing anyone at the office. So everything can be done over the phone or through email. Yeah, just as of Tuesday, the borough's collection rate for the second quarter is 90.87% versus 94.34% last year's second quarter. This amounts to $58,229.48 less than 2019. Although this is less than last year, considering the coronavirus pandemic, the amount is not as severe as we anticipated, and it will not affect our cash flow for this quarter. Thank you very much, Mayor. That's all I got.
Excellent. Thank you. Department of Public Works, Councilman David.
Thank you, Mayor. A lot of static. I don't know why. Can you hear me?
You're echoing.
I just left the meeting. Is it still messed up?
All right, can you hear me now?
Better.
All right, Short report. As of May 19th, the DPW is back to full manpower. There's no alternating shifts. Effective today, actually, we had one retiree from the DPW, Ed Jones. His retirement is effective July 1st. After 40 years of service to the borough on the DPW. His last day, though, is today. And once his day is official, I would like to have permission to open up applications to hire a new worker, which we're going to need since the DPW is going to be taking over recycling effective July 7th or 1st. So we're definitely going to need to hire another guy. Rollway DPW has been in contact with us. They're waiting to get back to full strength, possibly June 8th or the 15th. Once they get back to full strength with all their manpower back to work, they will be in contact, or we'll be in contact with them as far as rescheduling a bulk pickup. So there will be another bulk pickup. I know everybody's waiting to hear about it, but there is one coming. The only other thing I have, I've noticed going through town, there's a lot of properties that are in disarray. Grass is about 2 foot high. I would like residents to remind the residents that their lawns have to be taken care of. There's a lot of commercial property where the grass is 2 foot high, and we have to start getting on top of that and making things look halfway decent. I know it's, the COVID-19, but we still got to make Kenilworth look presentable, and property has to be taken care of. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, Mark. Can I ask you, you set a date for recycling. Is that going to be different north and south, or are we going to just do it all in one day? Do you know?
Recycling?
I'm sorry, bulk. I'm sorry, bulk.
No, the bulk will be the way it was, half and half, as far as I know.
Okay.
So it'll be one week will be north side, the following week will be south side again, because I don't think they can do the whole town in the one day. So, but hopefully they'll let us know soon. Like I said, they're waiting for their manpower to get back to full strength, because I guess they're working on an alternating schedule also. And once that happens, we'll have a date.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
All right.
That's it. Thank you. Department of Public Safety, Councilman Clementi.
Thank you, Mayor. I got a couple things that the chief wanted me to bring up tonight. The police department is issuing an advisory alerting residents of an increase in reports of unknown individuals that are burglarizing and stealing unlocked motor vehicles within the borough and also in surrounding municipalities. So just please make sure to lock your vehicle doors, and could avoid a lot of that. A special thanks and appreciation from the chief and the Kenilworth Police Department to everyone supporting the Kenilworth flag, the Frontline Appreciation Group, for providing food to our officers and our frontline workers throughout Kenilworth. There's been some confusion regarding the restaurants and dining establishments' hours and ability to remain open in the borough. Governor Murphy's Executive Order number 107, paragraph 8 states that all restaurants, cafeterias, dining establishments, and food courts with or without a liquor license, all bars and all other holders of a liquor license with retail consumption privileges are permitted to operate their normal business hours, but are limited to offering only food delivery and or takeout service in accordance with their existing liquor licenses. Please remember to support our local businesses. Passive recreation is all that is currently allowed by Governor Murphy's Executive Order number 148 within the borough. So I can read that into the record later on, but it just talks about the number of people that it's limited to, and indoors and outdoors and all that. So I'll read that later on. And then the last thing is tonight we're going to be swearing in our newest officer, Brett Byron. So we're excited about that. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
No, Mayor, I do have one more thing. I'm sorry. I wanted to just recognize Mike Scuderi, our OEM coordinator. He's been doing a lot of work with this COVID that's been happening, of course, and a lot of paperwork, a lot of applications, and all that's going to benefit us on in the end. But I just wanted to recognize Mike for the hard work that he's doing. Thank you, Mayor.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Recreation and Fire, Councilwoman Ciceri.
Thank you, Mayor. If you give me 1 second.
I went over.
Okay. Recreation, we submitted for camp reimbursements and have officially canceled the 2020 camp season. There will be no season for camp. Softball reimbursement POs have been sent out to all who are registered. The Recreation Department and its committee members, they're currently working on prepping the rec for renovations. We're supposed to be, getting things up and going in the rec building itself. The team is also working on outdoor park activities and simple programs for the summer, which we're hoping will take place when things open up for Kenilworth kids and their families. There's small little things that they're trying to work out to see what would be, the best to do where and during what times and for how many people could, join that activity. Okay, 16th Street Park, the sprinklers are watering the garbage and recycling bins. Okay, there's one, it's one sprinkler actually. It's over by the house. The bin has to be moved about a good 10 feet at least out. Otherwise, with the water, when the water comes up and sprays, all it does is spray open the holes that are there for the garbage collection. And it's water all inside the garbage cans. And it just needs to be moved. I just wanted to make DPW or whoever aware. It's just moving the recycling can. Flag is winding down as we speak. And actively, pantry donations for both St. Teresa's and the Methodist Church will be collected if anybody wants to drop them off. Kristen's collecting that. Okay, fire, I really have no report. Fire and rescue, no report. And I just have a question for later on. So I guess this is all I have and I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Ciceri. Health, Education, and Welfare, Councilman Ladati.
He's on mute. Jerry, you're on mute.
I got it now. Thank you. The business administrator and the superintendent are getting my weekly updates on school-aged children that have contacted the virus or their families have. And I could forward that to you guys. I've already forwarded to Vincent and to Kyle, to the mayor, and to you, Laura. Next is the graduation. After July 6th, they're going to make us know when we could have a graduation. I think it's important that we participate in the preparation of the graduation. Do we need the police there? Do we need crowd control? Do we need separation? Do we need separate areas for families? So I think we should be involved in that end. The library are going to start cleaning. They've been in touch with our attorney to make sure it's okay to do. They have a list that's about 10 pages long from the National Library Association, giving them all ideas of what to do in different phases. What I did was I donated a thermometer that will be used for the employees at the library. Again, my concern is to make sure we have healthy employees. So I think that'll help right there. Next is that they're planning on opening, but there's a lot of regulations that still have to be followed. Cleaning the books, separation. I know there was a problem with the plexiglass, Laura, that they use. So I know they were cut to the wrong sizes, which wasn't that great. What I also didn't like was them, the library calling members of the health department and having a meeting with them. Their board of directors with the health department, they're busy enough sharing what we do, but Marconi made himself available for them. Health department, again, they're talking now this month coming up, our next meeting will be all discussed of the health fair. And here's another area where I think we have to be involved. What do we really want to happen? I don't think we can have it like other years. We're thinking maybe just vaccines, for the flu, and maybe some blood work. Other than that, I think we've got to have a lot of space, a lot of separation, maybe in St. Teresa's parking lot. But that'll be discussed at our June meeting. And again, the farmers market, the health department plus Michael will be trying to get all the vendors together and who they're going to use for the fair, for the farmers market. And what they're going to do is union. I asked for all the protocols unions using, how they're separating the lines and the vendors. And Marconi said he's going to help us out, with those exercises that unions using. So that should help us there. That's about all I have here. And, I just wish everybody success here with their different departments. It's hard to do. I mean, I just got 100 pages of documents of everything going on and what people should do. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Planning and Zoning, Councilman Schuelke.
Thank you, Mayor. Planning, zoning, construction for May 27, 2020. We are working diligently to have the June planning board meeting via teleconference. More information will follow on that. All reports for the previous month have been received and reviewed. 2 residents had inquiries regarding zoning. They've been addressed. The drainage issue on South 18th Street has been put out to bid. On the consent agenda tonight is a resolution to waive sidewalk cafe fees for restaurants that can set tables outside. I would like to expand that to allow our zoning officer or construction officer latitude this year only to allow any business to use their sidewalk if space allows and or to use their parking lot if privately owned. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I'd like to add that the borough is committed in doing everything we can to support businesses so that they're successful when they reopen. Okay, borough engineer.
Okay. Speaking like. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just have a couple of items. So I'm going to start with the bad news first. On South 23rd Street, just outside the municipal building, we got a small sinkhole opened up in the middle of the road. We're not exactly sure what's causing it. It's kind of over the sewer main, so kind of suspicious that maybe something's going on with the sewer. DPW has requested Cranford to come in and camera the line for us. They've been very cooperative and helpful in using their camera. There were a couple of smaller depressions that opened up right after the gas company paved on the side that they worked, and they came in and fixed those. But this is on the other side. It's outside of where they worked, so I'm not sure it's related to the gas company work. The gas superintendent was out there today, and if it is something they caused, obviously they'll take responsibility for it, but we're not sure yet what's causing it. So we may need to do an emergency repair on the road, depending on what we find tomorrow, providing we can get in there and camera that line tomorrow. We want to rule out that it's the sewer, or if it is the sewer, before we start doing any digging or repairing. Secondly, we received bids for the recreation building renovations. This is the work that's being done under the Kids Infrastructure Trust Grant. We received 12 bids on May 21st. The low bidder was TechCon Construction in the amount of $87,984. The budgeted amount for this is $96,000. So it's under the budgeted amount. So we're recommending that be awarded to TechCon for their bid amount. And then lastly, we're putting out the South 18th Street drainage improvements as requested. We're putting those out to bid. We have a bid date set to receive bids for June 25th. And hopefully we'll see where those bids come in. So far, the 3 projects that we've bid this year have all come in under budget. So I'm pretty confident that we'll probably get a better number than what we anticipated last year. There's definitely a significant difference in bid numbers compared to what we were seeing last year to this year. So maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get a good number for that. And that's all I have.
I just wanted to ask a question. Did you look at that paving proposal yet from Elizabethtown Gas?
We're actually going through that. We haven't completely vetted that yet. We just want to make sure that the amount they're offering covers, potential costs. See, the problem is we have to we have to put things out to bid. So whereas a gas company, they can just, they're a utility company, they can pick who they want. They can negotiate with different contractors. We have to bid it. We're stuck with the bid number. So we wanted to see last year's number, and we want to see where the numbers come in this year, and then do a comparison. If that number seems to cover, anticipated bids, and it might be a good idea. We also should talk to them and see if they would consider just matching whatever bid numbers we get. So in other words, rather than have a preset amount, if they would agree that whatever number we get, they're willing to match it, then that would be a no-brainer. Then we could do it. But we just want to make sure that the borough isn't going to lose money on the deal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question. I don't know if it would be for you, Tony, or the town attorney. If somebody has land on the side, like they have their plot, whatever they're on, but happens to be another piece of land on the other side of them. Is there a way of them finding out if the town owns it or if people own it, or should I ask the town attorney this? I heard that. Okay.
Well,
The answer?
really, the tax map should show who owns the property.
Okay.
Unless it's what we call sometimes a gore, which is sometimes there's like a gap between properties, which nobody really has title to. But if you had a lot and block, we could look at the tax maps and see if that gives us any indication, who owns it. But it should be recorded on the tax map.
Okay. I don't have a lot and block. The only thing I got was a question from a homeowner if because he's on a corner property, but then there's another 100 feet out to the it's on 15th Street where it curves around now. It comes off 14th. The park is across the street with the parking, but when you come around that bend on 15th, the land there is it's quite a bit of land, and he was asking me how does he find out who owns it, if the town owns it, if he could buy it, or if somebody owns it outright.
Councilwoman Cesari, if he would like to reach out to Borough Hall, we'd be more than happy to try to help him with that. All he's got to give us is an address or the address on either side of the property, and we should be able to get that down for him.
Okay, that's great then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have something. There's a sinkhole on Market between Union and Vernon. I don't know if they can look at it tomorrow.
Where is that? At Union and Vernon?
Correct.
We'll take a look at it. Where's it? Is it in whereabouts is it? Is it
Right in the middle of the street?
Right in the
Can't
middle
miss it.
You never.
Yeah.
Okay. We can know that. We'll take a look at that tomorrow.
Just drive over it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. We'll see what's going on.
Very, very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Any more questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay. We'll see you guys later.
Borough CFO? Joe? It's dark.
Oops. Sorry, I just went into the witness protection program.
Oh, okay.
Well, it looks like that.
Now you're back, huh?
I'm back now.
How was it?
I got out of my, what's that, get out of your out of jail free card?
There you go. You got that.
Oh, boy. Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, as a result of the Finance Committee's inquiries about furloughing and layoffs, I have put some numbers together. If I could schedule a meeting maybe sometime next week with the committee via Zoom, we could discuss those numbers and spend a little bit more time than we would in this format. But I just want to let the committee and you guys know that we have some options and we have the cost impact based on those options.
That's perfect, Joe.
So let's take a look at that. And then lastly, as the councilman said earlier, the finance office is back and running inside, although we were always back and running, it was just outside. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us, but we're just reminding the public once again that the building is closed, but you do have several means to get in contact with us and several means to pay your taxes. As the councilman said earlier, the lockbox is available, and email, phone call, we're there to respond to those questions. And then lastly, as a result of the second reading and final adoption of the municipal budget at the next meeting, I will also start to prepare the capital ordinance for the capital items that were approved by the mayor and council and the finance committee. So if all moves well, we'll have that ordinance ready for introduction at our next meeting. And that's it.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Everybody's good? Okay. Okay, Borough Attorney, Mr. Capis.
So that's good.
Good evening. I'm relatively brief tonight. Three things, Mayor. Number one, as I reported to you, the litigation regarding Galloping Hill with the Planning Board and the Borough Council has been dismissed. I give a lot of credit to Rago from the Planning Board attorney. He carried the load on that. And the really good news is not only was it dismissed, but we didn't incur a whole lot of expense with our carrier. And as you know, it's like a car accident. The last thing you ever want to do is report to your carrier. Number two, I know you've gotten today, or you will be getting, my letter to the Rollway Valley Sewerage Authority. I'd ask that you carefully review that. I don't want to express any optimism because the Rollway Valley Sewerage Authority is going to listen to what we have to say, and then they're going to do what they want to do. But please read the letter. I see it's the opening salvo. The essence of it is, while the Rollway Valley has wide discretion in terms of implementing, it has to be based, the basis of it has to be based on true readings. And the fact that they replaced the meters, and the fact that when they replaced the meters, the numbers plummeted, demonstrates to us anyway that, the borough is for the next 2 years facing an unjust cost, but follow that. And finally, number three, Mayor, I did provide to the clerk and to you the basis of what other towns are doing with the farmers market. I just wanted to make the point, and I'm a big fan of our health officer, but I want to make sure that we do post at the farmers market those requirements about distancing and all the other things. There's about 8 points in that letter. That's for litigation purposes. I think it's important that we include that. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Anyone have questions for Mr. Capis?
Have a safe Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Mayor, I have no questions for the Borough Council, but I would like to thank him for his attention to this sidewalk and parking lot zoning issue. Thank you, Council.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Frank and Mr. Capis. Okay, Borough Clerk.
Mayor, we are also in regards to the food collection for the pantry for both the Methodist Church and for St. Teresa's. There's also collection boxes downstairs on the first floor across from dispatch next to the elevator. So if anyone would like to drop off and contribute, they're more than welcome to do that. They have to come in through the side door on 23rd Street because the front doors, as you know, the building's closed to the public, so you can't gain access that way. The only other thing I really have is just to kind of let you know that in conjunction with that resolution that you've been discussing this evening for getting ahead of the reopening phases, We're having a meeting with a few department heads to just kind of figure out and get everybody on the same page as to capacity requirements, whatever it's going to be. Because the sooner we get, we all get on the same page and everybody brainstorms and figures out the best way we can get our businesses up and running again, that's our goal. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to open the floor to the public.
Motion made.
So second.
Motion made by Councilman Cesari and seconded by Councilman Ladati.
At this time, there weren't any communications received in accordance with the COVID-19 virtual meeting requirements.
Okay. I'd like a motion to close the meeting for public discussion.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Clementi and seconded by Councilman Lopez. Did I get that right?
Sounds good.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else to add? Okay, if there's nothing else to be brought before the borough, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ladati and seconded by Councilman Shelkey. At this time, we're going to take a 5-minute recess before we begin the council meeting. Thank you for your patience.
Mayor, we're going to see if we